Hey, what's up, my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and I help people navigate through their ascension process. And today I'm going to talk about what I have decided to call the Ascension Climax and share with you 5 signs that you're going through it. Real quick, some of you are probably feeling real skeptical right now. Oh, really? The Ascension Climax, Vic? I agree. This is just a name I'm giving to a pattern I first initially noticed with myself, but now that I work with people, I'm seeing a lot of other people going through this same type of experience, the same somewhat climactic experience. That doesn't mean the end of the ascension. It means just like the end of a pretty long phase and the beginning of a brand new one. And at this particular climactic point, it can be really crazy and really tumultuous and really it just really will, it's almost like a rite of passage, it felt like for me. And again, the way I've seen other people now going through it, it seems to be that way for them. So at that time of my life, I felt like hopeless, like I had given up. I really started to say, dude, the pursuing of enlightenment or this awakening has gotten you nowhere. Your life is obviously a massive freaking pile. It's a big mess. And it's all the result of this bullshit journey that it was so important to you. And I really felt that way a decent amount of the time. But now in retrospect, I can see it was just really a time to step up and start actually living the principles that resonated with me. It's one thing to say, wow, we have a higher self. There's such a thing as divine timing and etc. It's another thing to paint yourself into a position where you're forced to live from those principles as a way of sustaining yourself, as a way of not going crazy. And that's what happened to me. And having since gone through that, I found it much more easy for me to be in the flow and to be faithful. And my life has really started blossoming in a much more progressive and a consistent way that's been accumulating. I'm starting to kind of accumulate now. Not so much things, that's part of it though. Just like I had to wipe the slate clean of my life completely. And now from much more of a clear space of consciousness, I can start creating in a way that won't inevitably have me letting it all break down again, because it was not from a true place. I'm starting to kind of live my life from more of a true place. And again, it feels like it's building and building and building, expanding and expanding and expanding. So that's kind of what I mean by the climax, the end of just like the craziness and the beginning of more of a stability and building of your new life from a place of higher consciousness. And anyways, again, it's not easy, this rite of passage I'm talking about, this climax. So that's why I want to make this video, 5 signs you might be going through it. Number 1 is your actual physical external life will be breaking down at a rate that just blows your mind. Jobs ending, home situation ending, relationships ending. They don't have to. You don't have to lose your job. You don't have to move. You don't have to change relationships, but it's just part of it. A lot of it comes down to that. Anyway, regardless, there will be changes going on in your life at a very fast rate. And it'll kind of force you into the necessity of letting go and trusting, because if you try to control all of this movement and transformation, you'll realize very quickly it's impossible. And it's just a powerful storm that you just got to kind of ride out in a sense. So that's definitely one of the elements that it's like you're finally getting what you want. You've been wanting something, and now all the things that really aren't in alignment with what you say you want are starting to go. And then you're starting to see them leave. Like for me, I knew I wanted to be on YouTube and live like the laptop lifestyle, have like what some people call a non-job, where I don't go to a 9-to-5, and I support myself, sharing my truth, helping people, and only doing it in the way I want to do it. That's what I really wanted. And yet I had a gym, I had a medical marijuana grow operation in a few different types of situations. I had a big house in a state I didn't really want to live, and it was time to really say, okay, you got to get this now. It's time. There's no more need to wait. Even though you'd like to wait. You'd like to take your time because it's a little bit less stressful mentally. But the higher self says, I'm examining the situation, and you're good. I know. Don't try to figure out how. I got that. I know how. We're going to shift this and do this and mold this, and you'll grow from this and blah, blah, blah. And eventually you'll get there. It might be kind of crazy, but it's going to be fast. And you'll go from point A to point B, and you'll wake up and you're there, and you won't even know how the hell it happened, and it's time. So this is breaking down. This is breaking down. There's an undeniable awareness that this needs to shift, and you're going to do it. And at the same time, these ideas will start coming in. And it just is kind of like wild, just fast, rapid breakdown / transformation that is maybe the most noticeable underlying theme of this climax. Number 2, this is kind of interesting. It's what you would least expect at this time. Your intuition might be off. In fact, one of my clients said it perfectly. She said, why is it that now, where I'm at in my life, when I need my angels, the way she kind of refers to them as angels, like her guidance, when I need my angels the most, they've abandoned me. It can feel that way. It can feel like in the past I had much more success with like divination and using tarot cards and praying and meditating and getting answers and guidance, and now all that seems to be kind of on the fritz and just not working. At the most intense time of your life, you feel more cut off and abandoned than ever, and it can lead to a lot of like resentment, like screw you guys, what the hell is all this? You coaxed me, I followed your word, I followed your guidance, I explored your synchronicities, and now you leave me in this freaking utter chaos, and now you're gone, nowhere to be found. What the hell's up with that? It's because it's time for you to not need any of that. It's a time for you to just start being your higher self, being your guides, your angels. They're all just extensions of you. It's all just an experience. It's not really something outside of you. It's always been within, and now it's time to actually live that. It's time to really step it up and be the master that you know you are. But we have these habits of following, and it can, and the situation can create even more of an intensification of the feeling of needing to follow something, but it's just not working. That's so crazy. But the end result is you realizing that and saying, you know what? I don't need that. I don't need a tarot deck to tell me what to do, because I can just think for a moment and know what to do. It's not as glamorous or as fun, but it's easier and more efficient. So if your intuition's off, it's because it's time to step up and be your own master, and not have such a differentiation between your intuition and you. It's you blend to where whatever you think on a commonsensical level is the best thing to do. That's probably the same thing as what your intuition is telling you. You no longer, again, need the difference. Number 3 is oftentimes there's an accelerated lightening of your load, a need to declutter everything. You start to feel the heaviness, the weight of anything in your life that was put there from a place of misalignment, whether it's an old pair of sneakers, whether it's a closet full of junk that you've been collecting, whether it's a vehicle, whether it's a house, whether it's a job, a relationship. All you feel like you need to lighten up because you feel so exhausted by your life that you're now kind of stuck in. It's a big mess, and it can be kind of a long period of time, not super long, but it can be a period of cleaning up. Like for me, the way it was a perfect metaphor, it was moving out of my house and moving to Southern California where I'm at now. It was not just, that sounds simple, but it was like my garage. I had a 2-car garage that we didn't park our cars in, just full of just random shit. And I had to go in there and I had to go item by item, and what do I do with this? Do I sell it? Do I put it on Craigslist? Do I give it away? Do I keep it? And I really had to do all that, and it was such a draining process because all this other stuff was going on simultaneously. And that's just one little piece. I had the same thing with the basement. For a while, my entire basement of a medium-sized house was a built-out grow room I had. I had rooms I built out, and it was just such an exhausting, heavy process to deconstruct that. going through all of our clothes. It was just, that was my metaphor. This is not a necessity. But you might find yourself doing something similar. Maybe you got a bunch of stuff at a friend's house and it's been there, and now it's just kind of weighing on your mind, like you just want to get it wrapped up. I had a client who had like her finances mixed in with her ex-boyfriend, and that has a feeling of like she knew she needed to tend to it, but it's uncomfortable. Didn't want to go talk to this guy, and yet she like did it, and then it's like, when I cleaned my garage, the basement, we moved, oh my goodness. I remember having our garage sale right before, a few days before we moved, and it was like, you'll want to start creating those experiences because you'll feel the freedom. You want to be free now more than ever. Your soul wants to be free, not tethered to all these obligations created from a place of inauthenticity, that now there's this obviousness of energetic incompatibility, and it's just this exhausting process. You're abandoned from your intuition. Your life is breaking down, and yet you're freaking decluttering like a madman. So that's definitely part of it as well. Number 4. If things couldn't get any more, if your schedule couldn't be any more packed, we'll add this to the mix. The desire to find your purpose will be stronger than ever. There'll be a need to find alignment, to find that thing, that why you came. You feel like it's getting close, but still kind of, still not clear as you would like it. But it's something that you will not rest until you find it. And again, there's so much, I think, hoopla about the whole purpose thing. It's just that, again, the whole premise of this Ascension Climax is to get you into a life situation that matches your real self, your core frequency. And that's what I mean by purpose. Oftentimes it does have to do, though, with a career change, or at least finding a way to carve out a significant time of each day where you can do and express in a way that you really want to. Often, there's a lot of it, people want to somehow help people. They want to start something that's going to help something else. And this could be done in a million different ways. One woman I just started working with, she's a bodybuilder, like a really very high level bodybuilder, and she sees the bodybuilding world. She wants to spread light into there. That's the same thing, in my opinion, as the person who wants to become a stereotypical healer. It's all the same. I've heard so many unique ideas. Another woman I'm working with, she drove by this detention or some sort of some building, and it just looked like a big mess, and it bugged her. And she really took it upon herself to call up the city and organize these different meetings, and she's like taking care of it. She saw something she didn't like, and so that's a form of the purpose as well. Just a way of implementing some kind of positive change that you'd like to in the world. And that could just be, maybe your purpose is deciding to buy a bunch of parenting books and improve your ability to be a good parent, because you know the power of raising good children, and they'll go out and spread light into the world. So it's very individual, but it's going to be very, very important to you. And you probably will feel like you don't know what it is. Like it's there, but it's not. It could be this, it also could be this. Maybe it's all three. How do I pick one? Do I have to pick one? I don't know. Oh my goodness, but I got to find it. Yeah, so there's that. Number 5. You realize in this storm, in this madness, just how much you have already transformed yourself. There will be periods where you probably feel like at your wit's end, and you lose your mind, and you spiral into negativity, and you're punching walls and pillows and flipping out. But there'll be other periods where you realize that, wow, I'm actually, am I going nuts? Because for some reason I feel actually calm and accepting of what's going on. My feeling, I might not have the tarot cards working for me, but my feeling of knowingness that it's going to be okay is just undeniably stronger than ever before. You'll start to really feel when you're in the flow. You won't need any external validation. You'll just know it. You'll feel it. A light resonance. in contrast with a very stark, obvious heaviness. And you'll just start moving in directions in whatever way that means for you, whether it's a way of thinking, a place you're going to live, a relationship, a pair of shoes you're going to wear. It could be anything, but you'll start to just move towards lightness. It's time to move towards the lightness, no matter how it seems or what that implies for you and your heart, your desire to find your purpose. That faith is going to allow you to do that. And out of it, you're going to emerge a freaking badass, an earth master. Not someone who's already there and made it and can hang up his hat or her hat and just chill. No, now it's the whole new beginning. You'll have found some semblance of at least enough of your purpose to kind of get going, and you will be starting at a very clean slate and now creating from a place of far more integration than ever before. That's the outcome. That's the outcome of all this craziness. It's not all bad. The outcome is worth it. Trust me. We all want to be the master. We all want to be a helper. We all want to be a healer. We all want to be happy. Well, you have to become that to have that. It's not something that happens because of an eclipse or something happens and all of a sudden your problems are just dissipated. You are the one to do all of it. And that sounds like a lot sometimes when you're looking at this big pile of problems and life changes you'd like to make. But the result of you actually doing it create a degree of satisfaction that can't come any other way. And your soul knows that's going to be important to you. It's not only getting yourself where you want to be, it's being in a place consciously to where you can experience it the way your heart knows is possible. It's a time of earning your stripes. You will have a different look about you in your eyes, in your energy, in your body. You will carry yourself with, you will have a strut in your step that you can get no other way. But it's darkest before dawn. It's not easy. All the things I said are very legitimately likely to be experienced by at least some of you, to varying degrees, obviously. It's a very individual process. But this is something I see a lot of people going through. A lot of people that reach out to me are in this phase of just being perplexed by what they're dealing with. And even though they've been on this journey a little while, why are they feeling so vulnerable? Well, it's because it's time to step up. It's time to be the master you came to be, quite simply, and you will. So anyways, I hesitated. I shot this video a little while ago and chose not to put it up because I don't want to be too like labely and make anyone feel like, oh, I'm not going through it. I don't want to send that kind of message of stages, because it's not like that. It's not linear, as sometimes it's convenient, I find, to speak about the awakening in a linear way. It could be helpful in that context in some way for sometimes, but it's not really quite like that. So I want to just make that clear. It's just my own experience that I went through, and now I'm seeing it with a lot of other people. And that's why I'm making this video, because I believe a lot of people are finding themselves going through that now. And it is really tough. And seeing a video like this would have helped me tremendously at the time, because there were many lows during that time for myself. So that's why I'm putting this out there, not to create any kind of separation or levels of advancement. Nothing like that. That's all bullshit. That's not how it is. Anyways, my friends, I hope you get something out of this video. You can maybe let me know in the comments, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Namaste.